Welcome to another episode of Knowledge is Power, where we're here to empower you in business, in your life, and also to help you overcoming challenges. Today, we're going to talk about business. And as we know, business have running costs. What if we tell you there's a better way for you to save costs, to help you to use that resources on something else instead of worrying about buying cleaning product and how effective it is? Would that be better for your business? Today, I have an expert here, our Tanya Benlow. Hi, Tanya. So good to have you
Perfect.
back here again.
Thank you.
Please tell us a little bit more about you.
My background is I'm a chef by trade, actually.
Mm.
Many years ago, I've not been in the cooking trade now since I was 24. I'm now 53 years old. But I owned and operated three restaurants at a very young age, so I've got quite an extensive knowledge throughout the hospitality industry. But I followed through in that kind of still that field for many years after it. For the next 8 years, I worked for Australia's and one of the largest world food manufacturers for the next sort of about 6 years,
Mhm.
which was a lot of fun. And you might know them, which is Simplot Australia, and they are the biggest manufacturers, which they have about 30 odd brands under their belt. They would make Birdseye, Iron J, Nanas, Legos, Chico Roll, 4 and 20 pies, and most of your household common brands that you have in your house. And so I've got a really extensive knowledge and industry experience around food, commercial manufacturing, but also business. So I spent my last 20 odd years working in education and training. And I've also worked for private training providers in and out of different fields. And so I spent the last 20 years walking in and out and talking to businesses about running effective businesses, lean systems and strategies, and looking at what the problems were in a business and how to reverse engineer that and upskill and train their staff to create a more of effective workforce. But what I do nowadays is a whole new thing. But there was actually something that drove me out of the workforce, and that was two very major injuries, which gave me two total and permanent disabilities. So I had to look for something that I could use my skills, my knowledge, and my ability and take it into a home based business, which predominantly is all online. But I do go out and talk to a lot of businesses and I travel quite a bit, which is what I love. I'm officially retired, but it's nice to be able to go out and help people save money and teach and educate them around cost saving things to really implement change and strategies in a business as well, and to look at how one product in their business can save them a fortune. So,
Mm.
one of the biggest conversations the week before last, I was up in Cairns visiting a lot of businesses, and the first commonality there was the cost of chemicals in their businesses was really basically some of them are sending them broke, particularly in the farming industry as well. So, yeah, it's an interesting conversation.
So, what sort of chemicals are we talking about? Because chemical is a sensitive topic. So,
Mm.
a lot of people don't understand. Like in the food industry, in the even in restaurant that we're eating, there are a lot of chemical being used, and we are injecting it.
Yeah, it's an interesting word saying injecting it. I don't know if you've ever actually been into a butcher before, but being a chef by trade, one of the things we did do was go into a lot of butchers, and I have worked in a lot of commercial industries and seen a lot of the butchers, and they do actually inject things into things like silverside and other meats to soften and tender the meats and things like that, which we don't think about, but that's not what our conversation is today. So in any kind of commercial kitchen, the chemicals that you do use in there are quite substantial, and that is to really keep a safe environment and looking at killing bacteria so that there's no cross contamination, particularly around food handling. And this is where people get gastro. So the common outbreak in a restaurant is is caused from people not washing their hands, especially after going to the toilet, or they're touching their skin in their hands. And, if you ever go to a restaurant, the kids are the worst. They stand there and run their hands through their hair all the time. Every time they touch their hair, they're meant to sanitize their hands because there is so much bacteria that's in their hair. But we never know, have those waiting staff actually sort of washed their hands after coming out of the toilet, or have they touched something else that's been contaminated? So a restaurant industry, like from my experience, is, it's a bit of a minefield. But they use phenomenal volumes of chemicals and sanitizers and things like that. So today we're going to talk to you a bit about a commercial water ionizer. And this is something that's been out on the market for 50 years, and you can use it for multiple things. So I'm going to take you through some really in-depth conversation of the things you can use it for home use and commercial. But today's conversation, we're going to just show you a commercial product, and it pumps massive volumes of different pH waters, and it's electronically charged. And so you'll get to hear and see and learn a little bit more about all the different applications and how realistically you can actually eliminate the full use of chemicals. I even know a major cleaning company here in South Australia that uses this and has had it in their business now for many, many years. He swears by it because he's been able to use it for cleaning the ships. He used it for the COVID cleaning ships, and he can clean outside ships as well, not worrying about with the water going on the outside of the ships into the water. He also not only does commercial cleaning, as in restaurants, cafes, buildings, and that kind of thing. He also does the major truck spills. So he has the contracts for the interstate highways. So when they have big truck spills, they use this water on as well. So we'll go through all that and extend on that kind of thing. But the types of chemicals we can look at, the people that use this device, everybody from optometrists, health professionals, restaurants, cafes, you name any kind of business that purchases chemicals of any description. So it doesn't matter what it is. We can reduce, or if not eliminate them, because of the actual strength of what this water actually does do. So
Wonderful. So I will give this floor to you. I'll be on the background monitoring all the chat. If anyone got any questions, feel free to pop it into the chat, and then we will actually answer you at the end of the presentation. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Martha. So one of the things you might have seen is I'm always drinking water. So we are in the water business. Now, you may have heard of Enagic Kangen Water Ionizers. Today, we're going to talk to you about a commercial one. It's one that is really just not seen out in the marketplace here much in Australia. It's still a very untapped market, but it's a product. I'm going to just share my screen and actually show you what this device actually looks like, and just so you can get a sense of what it actually looks like. So this is a certified Japanese medical grade device that was created in Japan in 1974. Was purposely built for disinfecting in hospitals, and what it has, the uses and the capacity to do for so many different things is absolutely phenomenal. So this is a fairly large unit, and but what it can do is pump very high volumes at a very fast rate of two particular types of water, and it's a very flexible unit. You can actually move it around. It does normally be plumbed into an actual wall into cold water. So what it does, what is a Kangen water ionizer? It basically ionizes the water and creates hydrogen-rich water, electrolyzed reduced water, and it's ionized water. And with the drinking water, it creates alkalized water. But today I'm going to really focus very deeply on the cleaning aspect and what it actually can do. So on the commercial unit on this side here, it has a 5-plate system in here. It clean filters the water first through a filter which just takes chlorine impurities out of it. Doesn't do other waters because it's made for a global market, and not every water around the world has all sorts of different things in it. So it's just made for a generic thing. When it comes into a commercial use, whether it's farming or say an optometrist or a hospital or a restaurant or cafe, they will tend to already have a pre-filtration system in place, which may take certain things out of the chemical depending on the water source, wherever they are. So here in South Australia, where I'm currently living, we have fluoride, we have chloramine in the water, chloramine in the water, and that's another really toxic substance that I would classify as toxic. On SA Water, they did place out a health alert when they placed that on them into the water a couple of years ago. And the reason they placed that in our water is because they're struggling to control the amount of bacteria that's in our water. So chlorine's put in our water to kill bacteria, and so is chloramine. In South Australia, we have 4 major water sources, so it actually there's different levels of chloramine around different areas of South Australia. So just inside this little black section here is a filter, just takes chlorine and impurities out of the water. So we always recommend a pre-filter first. That's not something that Enagic sells. We send you down to the local pre-filter shop to get that one. I actually personally use a product called Seagull. It's a product I get from, and it's sold here in Australia, but it's actually manufactured in the USA. So this pump has two hoses on it. You'll see two little hoses coming off on the side, the one with the yellow hose on here, and on this side of the machine, it does have two other hoses that come out down the bottom, and they can be placed in the sink or on a wall or wherever a person's producing 2.5 and 11.5. So what the machine does when it makes 2.5, it's drawing a salt-based solution, and in the back section of this machine, it has a tank in here that we mix 300 grams of just common table salt, the cheap one you can buy from Coles or Woolies. It's about $2 a bag, and you just mix that with a litre of water. So it creates a very heavy salt-based solution. The salt-based solution is only used to make the 2.5 water, which is essentially, once it's been electronically charged through the machine and clean filtered, it creates hypochlorous acid. So the hypochlorous acid, if you think of what a pool chlorinator does, it's very similar. So this pool chlorinators in, say, Queensland use that because it kills the bacteria in the water really well. It's a very similar type of thing. So this enables you to produce hypochlorous acid, which can be used for so many different things. So I'm going to just open up on my water website on here so you can actually have a look at the different things if you want to come back and have a look through it. A bit further down, there's a lot in here around the water, but I'm just going to open up the different uses of the water so you can just quickly see it. So we're going to talk about the 2.5 water first. And this is what's called a strong acidic water, which has disinfecting properties, and it's also used for sanitizing. So that was its first primary use, created in Japan in 1974, was just to sanitize hospitals. But what they did was they found the power of the drinking of the water helped their patients just really heal at the rate of knots, because when we drink electronic charged water, it has an absolute amazing effect on our body, which we'll talk to a bit later. But this is about understanding you can use it to sanitize countertops and everything in the home. You can actually just pour a small spray bottle off, and you can put it on your hand, so you can take it in your handbag. One of the things you will see in restaurants and cafes, people spraying your tabletops with sanitizer, and then they're wiping it with a cloth. That is actually something they should not do, because they're transferring bacteria from the cloth back onto the table again. So a sanitizer is traditionally meant to be just sprayed on contact, so very fine, like a very fine spray on it, and it should just sit on the countertop. So for commercial restaurants and cafes, this is a fantastic cost saving for them, never having to buy sanitizers. They can actually make their own. And when they make their own, when you pour this water, we pour it at a very slow rate out of the machine, and you can pour it as you need it, or you can store it for sort of 24 hours up to 48 hours. So when you pour it, it has a really high pungent smell of chlorine, and that's just electronic charged salt water, and there's nothing else in it. It's absolutely lovely on your hands. So those people who have eczema and psoriasis and things like that, they don't have to worry about their hands, because it's actually really fantastic for just the normal skin. So you can pour it directly onto your skin. And if you, even in kitchen scenarios, like, for me as a chef by trade, you're always constantly nicking and cutting your hands. And you can actually pour this straight onto the skin, and it kills the bacteria in the skin with the wounds, and it heals the wounds like almost overnight. I've had some of the most incredible cuts on my hands over the years. I pour a glass of this water off, and I just keep dipping my finger into it, or putting it on the skin, or wherever you have, even in gardening situations, you can pour it straight onto the skin and soak it, and it just kills the bacteria in the skin, and it really helps to heal the skin very well. So it has multiple uses. So you can also see down here, you can sanitize knives, cutting boards, towels, kitchen cloths, everything. So it is your 100% disinfectant that you use it for everything. So you've got everything you can use from home, which is disinfecting, toothbrushes, toilets, and things like that. So in every commercial situation, you've got a toilet. And so we can look at being able to sanitize and clean it all as well. I'll talk about the other one in a second, because when this machine, when you pour 1 pH water at the same time, it makes another. So we'll show you that one. But if you see on here, for commercial operation, it can be used in everything you can think of, from beauty salons, hair salons, restaurants, agricultural colleges, all types of farming. The farming is absolutely a huge conversation. That usually would take me an hour to get through that one. Everything from daycare centers, pet shops, nursing homes, anybody that uses any kind of sanitizer or disinfectant. So the next one I'm going to talk to you about, when you press the button on the machine up on the top here, it says 2.5. So the 2.5 will come out of the bottom hose on this one, out of the top hose on this one, and the 11.5 will come out of the bottom hose. So the machine is always making 14 pH at the same time, but it's making different multiple waters out of the machine. So it has so many different uses. The 2.5 is the hypochlorous acid, which is absolutely fantastic to use for everything. I've even gargled it for a sore throat. And it's sometimes when I talk too much, my voice box gets a bit sore. I can gargle it, and it tends to just soften the voice box. It's actually really nice. So you can use it for so many different things. And it just has such a great capacity for healing skin as well, especially for cuts and things you can do out in the garden. But the 11.5 is the next one I want to talk to you about. It's a phenomenal thing that it can do. So just remember, once you press the 2.5, the 11.5 comes out of the machine at the same time. I'm just going to scroll back up here and show you what the 11.5 can do. So when you pour the water, we pour this kind of at a slow rate, and it creates what's called a strong Kangen water. So it's from 11 to 11.5. So it's not suitable for drinking, but you can actually drink small amounts of it. So if you had a really bad unsettled stomach, if you've got gastro and things like that, when you've got really bad pains in the stomach, you can actually drink small amounts of it, like a third of a cup of this water. And what it does, it actually settles it like within 15 minutes. I remember last time I had a bad tummy bug. One of my friends said to me, "Oh, have you had the 11.5 water yet?" And I said, "No, I hadn't." As soon as I drank it, 15 minutes later, the pain actually subsided out of my tummy. It's absolutely amazing. So the 11.5 comes out as a slightly slimy kind of feeling water when you pour this off very slowly. And what it does, it pulls dirt out of surfaces and emulsifies oil. So it's absolutely fantastic. When you heard me talk about truck spills on roads, you can pour this straight onto roads, add to pull out of there, out of your driveways. So there's so many different aspects. But if you think of everything you would use, your cleaning soaps or powders or whatever at home, no matter whatever it is that you're using, whether it's vinegar or everything, you're not going to need that anymore, because this one machine just makes it. There is no salt added to this. This is just a different rate of charge of water that alters the structure of the water. And that's what we teach you all about, is we're altering the state of the water with this water ionizer. So in food preparation, it removes all sorts of things in here, like pesticides. And it's absolutely amazing to see. So if you were, say, an organic farmer, or you've got a restaurant that you are very pedantic because you don't know, when you buy your fruit and vegetables, whether it's from organic farming or whether it's from the fruit and veggie shop, how many thousands of hands that's gone through until it's actually entered into your premises. And it's a substantial amount of areas that has transferred through. Lots of bacteria and cross-contamination has come through on fruit and vegetables. You just have no idea what's on them. So we can pour a small bowl of each of these waters off. We can quickly rinse the 2.5 water, and it only needs contact. Like, it doesn't need to sit in the water. It's just a quick dip and a rinse, and it takes the bacteria off the fruit and vegetables. And then we soak it in the 11.5, like we put it in a bowl, or we can fill it up in a sink, and it pulls all the pesticides and dirt and oils and anything that's on these skin of these fruit and vegetables. And it leaves them so clean, and the taste is incredible. We do blind taste testings in our home with people that come around, especially with blueberries and strawberries, tomatoes, fruits, and all sorts of things. The blueberries are one of the best ones to do it with. And the main thing is just understanding how much pesticides are on it. The week before last, I went to a big blueberry farmer a few months ago. I put a post in the Facebook group in here and talked to the members about removing the pesticides off blueberries. And a lot of people said to me they don't have it. Well, the farmers guaranteed that they are loaded with a lot of not very nice pesticides. So I can guarantee you, I got it straight from the horse's mouth last week. So it's interesting to see that one application from one machine can do all this for you, increase the flavor, make things taste so much better. But it's everything from cleaning all your surfaces. So you look at how we use, everything in soaps and all sorts of things. I'm just going to close my door because my cat's about to come in the door, and he's a naughty boy. So we can use it for cutting boards, all sorts of things. So one of the things we look at, we clean the cutting boards, we'll pull all the stuff out of the cutting boards, and then we can sanitize it with the 2.5 to kill the bacteria. Stain removal, one of the things that I find, and I actually had this happen to myself, is in restaurants, the waiter pours the wine tray down the front of someone. I've seen it happen so many times, and I bet you have. I think it was about a year ago, I bought a brand new white top. We went away for the weekend, and unfortunately spilt a whole glass of red wine down the front of this top. And when you spill red wine on a top, it's highly likely you might not get it out. 4 days later, when we came home, I was thinking, I'm not going to be able to remove this stain. It's been dried and it's been sitting on this brand new top. I covered it and sprayed it with 11.5 every 15 minutes for 2 hours before I even put it in the washing machine. By the end of the 2 hours, it actually dispersed and broke down all the red wine tannins out of that white shirt, and it was clean before I even put it in the machine. So I didn't need to use preen or anything like that. So if you think of all the things that you have in your laundry detergent, you don't need the Pino Clean, you don't need the preen, and all the other things that you carry in your laundry. Think of the home uses as well as commercial. You have so many different applications you can use this for. You can wash the floors with it. So you can just pour the 11.5 in your washing bucket, and you can actually just, you'll clean the floors so much better as well. If you have ovens, commercial ovens in your place, you can actually spray the 11.5 in the oven and clean the oven. You will never use another caustic product in your oven. It lifts it off seriously in 2 minutes flat. My recommendation with commercial ovens, even your home oven, is just warm it up a little bit, just so it's not freezing cold. It only needs to be probably 50 or 60 degrees. You can spray the 11.5 on there, and within a minute, you'll see that it breaks down the oil, and it lifts off the surface. All the dirt and the gunk in your oven will actually lift right off. It's phenomenal. You can just wipe it off with a microfiber cloth. I have stone bench tops in my house. My husband's a architectural building designer, and he put all beautiful stone bench tops in our home that's all fairly new. And one of the things I have loved is just being able to use this water for all these different things. The other great thing is it does make us a product called Beauty Water, which is 6 pH, and on high gloss bench tops, it cleans just like Windex, exactly the same as Windex. So there's so much in there that you can see that this one machine does. So when we come back to the model, so that's just the 11.5 and the 2.5 that it makes on this side. It has a 5 electronic plate system in there. And then on the other side, it has all the different types of waters that it makes. So pressing the different buttons across the top and setting the pH levels on the front, when this is hard plumbed into the wall, say for any commercial use or manufacturing, you only need to press the on-off button and the flow rate just comes out of the actual machine. You are not having to turn taps on and off. So it stays constantly plumbed in, and you actually can feed the 11.5 and 2.5 for any high commercial areas. You can actually run that machine 24 hours a day. It does not need to be turned off. It has the capacity as a commercial water ionizer to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There are machines that are still in this model that was first made 40 odd years ago, and they are still running as good as the first day they were made. So the technology is made really well. And these are manufactured by in-house, 100%. Every component, including the filters, are all manufactured in Japan in-house. So I've just recently been through all the manufacturing plants in Japan, and you might hear a lot of other people doing the same sort of business, but nobody out there is really focusing on the commercial market. And that's what we do. So we really focus on getting these out to people. Sometimes it depends on where you are. There may even be funding to pay for it, who knows? But, that could be something you could research into. So I just want to talk to you a little bit more around a couple of the other uses that are on here. Just going to look at the beauty water. So the beauty water is a 4 to 6 pH water, which is really, really lovely to use for many different things. So for the commercial use, you can use it as, say, if you're using Windex, cleaning windows. The window cleaning is amazing. You pour this off at a little bit slower rate as well. And in the mornings, like with my smaller unit that I have at home, I run it off every morning. And what it does, it reverses the polarity on the plates, titanium dip plates in there, and it keeps them nice and clean because with our water, we have high calcium in our water. So this just allows us to be able to use it for other different aspects. So we've got caravan parks that love using it on the showers because the shower tiles come up a lot cleaner and glossier. The windows and the mirrors in, hotels, restaurants, cafes, caravan parks, you name it, come up better than using Windex. If your windows are getting high, impact from rain and dirt, I recommend that you would wash them down first with the 11.5 to really pull that ingrained dirt out of it, and then finish it off with the beauty water. So that takes it full chemical free as well. Anybody that's in the health industry, hair care industry and things like that, you can see that you can use the beauty water as a conditioner for hair. It has lots of different uses. You can polish all different surfaces as well. Really great for timber floors and those sorts of things. But in the beauty area, when we're looking at what we can use this for and the shower system for, it's basically a nice lower rate of acidic style water, which cleanses, tones, and firms the skin. So it allows you to do multiple different things. And often at the same time while it's pouring this water off, it's creating a runoff water, which we call a wastewater. And that is a demineralized water. So it actually has no minerals in it because out of the top hoses, when we're using the other side of this machine, so when we're using this side of the machine, the water that comes out of the top that we're using for different purposes and drinking has high mineral rich water. So what it's doing, it's splitting the water into high mineral rich water that comes out of the top. It's high antioxidant rich water. It's ionized water. It's hydrogen rich water. And you may hear that buzzword, which is called hydrogen rich water. So it has lots of uses. But out of the bottom area, because it's bringing all the minerals into the top water for drinking and other purposes, the bottom water on this side here is demineralized water. So you may be buying or purchasing demineralized water for different things in your business. So the week before last, when I was going through the Athen Tablelands, I was visiting the farms and businesses around through the area there, and we did come across people purchasing demineralized water for about 97 cents a litre. So it's quite surprising how many people would use it, and they do use it for machinery, racing car engines, CPAP machines, your iron, you can use it for all sorts of things. You can use it for washing the floors. You can use it for putting in your washing machine. It doesn't really matter what you use that water for. It's just not for drinking. Might just quickly touch base on that because if you are drinking demineralized water, you're doing some really major damage to your body. One of the things that we've learned from a naturopath that's in our space is that by drinking demineralized water, it can actually cause so much harm to the body within a month. I'm not sure whether you're aware that our urine requires high minerals out of our body to actually urinate. And if you're drinking demineralized water, you're not giving your urine any minerals to urinate. So what you're then effectively doing is drawing all the minerals out of your body, out of your bones and your joints, and it's now coming out through your urine. So it's some fascinating information to learn. The other great benefit of understanding why we drink the water is because it has so many different health benefits. So our home drinking water has got good minerals in it. And a lot of people might put a reverse osmosis in it. And my naturopath actually, strongly recommends for people not to drink water out of reverse osmosis because you're actually taking the good high quality minerals out of your water, which is in our natural water source. And that's why our animals love drinking the puddles and things like that because they love the minerals that are in it. The animals absolutely love drinking this water as well because they can sense the smell out of it as well. And it has such great effects on it. But for commercial operation, one of the things that I love, is food and being able to eliminate using sugar. So sugar is it doesn't have great effects on our body if we're eating a lot of sugar. And one of the things you can do is adjust the pH level of your food, your soups, your stocks, your sauces, your bolognese sauce, and everything from using the right pH water. So I'm as a chef by trade. I'm trained in French and Italian a la carte, and so Italian food has always been in my blood. I'm not Italian, but I love it. And but one thing is, a lot of people put sugar in a bolognese sauce, just for example. And if you think of how acidic some of our foods can be, which if you think of we put a lot of tomato-based products in our stocks and sauces and soups and things like that. And it can be also in a slightly acidic state too, because we just don't know what other products we're putting in it. But when we I use the 9.5 pH when I'm cooking with. And what it does, it naturally smooths out the flavors and it balances out the flavors. So if you're using it in soups, it's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely amazing for coffee machines. So we can actually hard plumb these into coffee machines as well. And it's absolutely fantastic. So, and at the same time, when you're using this through machinery, if it's in through commercial equipment machinery, it's also cleaning your machinery as well. And if your machinery say, if you had different pipes and different things in your commercial kitchen, the 11.5 and 2.5 can actually be used to clean pipelines, flow pipes and all sorts of things through machinery in commercial uses. So that's a really interesting topic of conversation that I would have through farming. But today we're here to talk more around commercial use. So absolutely fantastic for your commercial use in food preparation as well. So really around that middle one there. So the tea and coffee with 8.5, 9, and 9.5 pH water. This is when we're drinking what's called alkalized water. So alkalized water returns the body back to an alkaline state over a period of time. Sometimes it'll be immediately. Depends on how well or how unhealthy your body is as well. So it could really change the how that actually works for you. So tea and coffee is absolutely amazing. So in teas, if you're a tea house specialist and that kind of thing, you can do cold immersion teas with this water, and it emulsifies the water really, really quickly, and the flavor of the teas comes out exponentially. It's like the flavor is absolutely tenfold more increased by using the water. So you can use it for cold or hot. So there's lots of different things. When you drink this water, it's really soft because what we're drinking is electrolyzed reduced water. So once it goes through the clean filter, it goes through this machine, it goes through 7 titanium plates. With the K8, the home model, it goes through 8. So this one has 7-plate system. So when you drink this, changes the structure of the water and it's really soft to drink. So it's absolutely fantastic. So if you're wanting to get rid of that chemical chlorine flavor and things like that, and offer your patients or your restaurants or your cafes really good drinking water, this is one to look at. To give you an idea, if you're buying boxed or bottled water in your business, you are just seriously throwing water down the drain. I'm going to give you a case example. So one of my distributors now, I actually went out and saw them. They were looking for another business, but what they didn't realize was how much money they were wasting. And we went out to an organic farm and we looked underneath the tree that had a whole pile of those 15-litre water bottles from somebody, say like Never Fail, was one of the water companies. And I asked her what she used them for. And she said it was just to hydrate the staff in the packing shed. So I said to her, how many do you use those a week? And we worked out it was around about 12 to 15. And over 1 year, that was $7,500 they were spending in their business on water. So if you are buying any kind of bottled water for your office, your business, or anything like that, or home, you can save that kind of money in a year. It's phenomenal. So the prices of these sit around the $7,500 for a commercial one, which is pretty good price for commercial use, and you'll have it pretty much for a lifetime as well. So have quite a big warranty on it and an expected lifespan of 40 years on them. So Really lovely to drink the water, and the great part about it is you'll have more people to ask you where can they get that water from. So you'll get a bit of an idea that you can use it for. Also for plants, anything you can find that's a living animal, whether it's animals, dogs, pets, and all those sorts of things. So the machine has quite a lot of different range and uses of it. This is a fairly big unit, does need to be plumbed in, but we've seen some businesses be quite innovative where they've put them on the back of tractors and used a generator and all sorts of things. So it does require water source, and it does require power. So that's probably just another one just to give you a bit of an idea. Maybe if you are in the pet industry as well, the pet industry, you can use this for many different things. So if you're um, what do you call it, a home dog wash company, or even if you have a pet shop or a pet groomer, you can use it for many different things in here. The dogs and the cats just love it because they have really high uric acid as well. And the great thing is we recommend only 8.5 for the animals, but often after a couple of weeks of been drinking it, they'll be able to find that put a bowl of each water in front of them, and they will tell you which water that their body actually requires. So you can now save additional costs even in yourself and your home or your business. If you're an animal business or a veterinary surgery or things like that, you can use this safely for all sorts of other things. So you can use it for flea and tick things as well, reducing odors in there. You can create your own shampoos out of it. One of the most beautiful things is actually washing your dog and your pets in it as well, because one thing most common people say is, oh, the animals have got irritated skin. Whether you have irritated skin or your animals do, you can wash the skin in the 2.5 to kill the bacteria in the skin first. You then pour the 11.5 over the skin. Same for the animals. You can immerse them in it, pour it over them, and just rinse it. No shampoos or anything like that. No creams. Just use the water. So the 2.5 will kill the bacteria. The 11.5 will actually wash them, pull the dirt and oils off the skin and the irritated skin. And then we flush the skin with the beauty water, which is like a cleanser and a toner. It hydrates the skin and it settles the skin naturally. So if you've got dogs or animals at home that are irritated by, coming into spring, we have a lot of different irritants out in the air. In summer, we have a lot of, animals might run around through paddocks and get irritated by grass seeds or grass or things like that. These are things that can fix things like overnight. It really is amazing for animals. So there's quite a big, we'll place down to the details underneath here, place a website. You can have a look through this. There's some really good results. There's lots of testimonials in here about the dogs and recoveries and, those sorts of things. So I think the last one I just wanted to go through is to show you Enagic certification. So to be classified as a Japanese certified medical grade device, they actually went through years to have this certified. So you can actually see all the certifications that they do have by underneath there. They're also certified under the Direct Selling Association of Australia as around the world also. So we're always looking for other distributors around the place, because this is something that is very unique. The commercial market we've not tapped into in Australia. It's not even being sold through the UK or Germany, which is quite surprising. It is very heavily sold through Japan, China, Asia, and some European countries. Very heavily sold through the USA and Canada. But there's several countries that we have huge aspects of being able to take it out to market. If you'd like to have a chat around the commercial market for farming, nurseries and things like that, whole different conversation. But if we could reduce or eliminate the costs of everything for you to be able to do that, it would be worth you coming back and having a look at purchasing one of these. Some farms require 2 or 3, so you really effectively only purchase one, and it gives you global distribution rights. You sell yourself the others, and you make some money on it, which is great. So, Martha, that's probably the main, really the most comprehensive information session I could probably just give you, in a short period of time on what this can do for, so everything, every kind of commercial business, whether it was a pet shop, cafe, restaurant, optometrist. So optometrists and people in those kind of areas use them because they can sanitize all of their equipment and all sorts of things. So.
Definitely. I can actually see the use of it. I do have one myself. And for the last week, people have been noticed that I have been having a huge eye infection. And the truth is, the doctor's dropper actually hurts more when I actually rinse my eyes in. Like 2 days, it was better, and then it got worse. But I've been rinsing with just the 2.5 and the beauty water, 6.0 water. And I can say my eyes actually been healed by that rather than the
Yes.
dropper. Every single time I put a dropper in it, it hurts again. And then it goes into a state that I can't see. So I'm like, okay, I rather actually just use the disinfectant water and the healing water to actually wash it. And
Mm,
another benefit that I found, like I always say that I'm a user, okay? I'm a user first out of anything. I'm a user, my gum was actually inflamed. So I've been rinsing it with the 2.5 water, like, since I got the eyes as well, do my mouth as well, and it really got much much better within 2 days. So
mm,
that's something that it would tell you that not all chemical, not all drugs works. Okay, I have two full cabinet of drugs. Okay, me and Malcolm take so much drugs in it, and it is because now that we've been using the water machine a little bit more and understanding how to use it more, it does help us in our health and in our body. Because hey, woman over 40, we're falling apart. That's the truth. I'm falling apart, and I'm someone that who are so bad in eating. I have no diet plans. Don't do any kind of exercise. Absolutely horrible. So today, like, this is the first thing that I invest on my health to actually make a little bit of a difference to me. But of course, like, everyone's is different. You do need to go and do your own research and do your own diligence. It took myself and my partner 2 years to research this before we actually invest on one. So
mm.
it is about understanding what it is it suitable for you, and then go from there onto it. And that's what I really wanted to say here. Thank you, Tanya, for coming up
That's
and
right.
sharing your
Yeah.
knowledge with us on this, particularly in the commercial area. For a
Mm.
lot of
Oh, there's
people who don't understand it,
probably
there's
one
actually
more
a lot
thing I
to
had
do.
might add,
Yeah.
just like you were sort of saying, it took you a while to invest.
Mm,
So Enagic does have an interest-free payment plan as well. So if it does interest you, just reach out to Martha, and what we'll do is we can do an information session just really around purchasing it and all that kind of stuff. We'll just do that on a private Zoom call if you do actually want to look at investing in one for your business, or if you know another business that is spending a lot of money, and could do with actually reducing the cost of chemicals and keeping all that in their pocket.
mm,
Literally in 1 year, they would save that,
mm,
just in one purchase. So the other thing is when you purchase one, you get global distribution rights. So, as a business, you're highly likely to share the product or with somebody else, and you probably sell, a couple on the side, and it's just sold direct from the manufacturer to a person's home. Like, you don't stock products or do anything like that. It makes it nice and easy. And Magic has a great system set up there for you, and that just allows you to be able to share what you have, and the water, and just the health benefits is really amazing. But just the hydration is incredible. What it will do for your body, it just keeps you in the optimal health state. And I think Martha's just noticed, the difference, those sorts of things. But it's all those little niggly things that come up. Yeah, my husband's used it for his eye as well. So yeah, well
yeah, all
done.
those little things that I find a new use for. It's like, oh, my gum is inflamed. Okay, let me rinse it. It works. My eyes is inflicted. Okay, let me rinse it. It works. So it's better than what I got from the doctors and the chemists and everything that I've been trying for the last week. It didn't work because I want to try the difference. Last time I did rinse it for 3 days alone, and I was healed. And I'm like, okay, let me try with the doctors. Like, I like to test out everything myself, just to go and, like, suss it out and try it. And I tried it with a doctor's dropper. It actually made me worse, and it prolonged it. It prolonged it for another week. I was having eye infection last week when Tanya was interviewing me. You can see me within tissues and everything. My eyes was dripping. That
Mm.
has been prolonged for a whole more week instead of just 3 days. And I'm like, okay, yep. Now I got another story to share that it does prolong it if I actually don't use the water to actually clear it up. So that's just how it is in there. And like, people don't realize that I promise, like, we're on payment plan, and then it's just initial process deposit, and it's a very affordable, like $50-$60 a week into actually replaying. So like, we can afford it if I'm investing on my health alone. I'm just saying that for myself, I stopped buying all the supplements that is outside. So that already is a few $100s a month that I can actually save on that. But of course, that's my personal thing. I'm saying that do your own diligence, do your own thing to actually go and try and test it. I did for 2 years before I invest on it. And then that's why that we're sharing this today. But also one of the big thing about today's session, it is helping business to save costs. A lot of especially short funds, retail business, they are dying. They are dying because everyone's starting to shop online. We don't actually go out and actually eat as often. We don't do all of things. So if the customer's demand is shorter, we need to cut costs. So cutting costs is either one way or the other. Either the cost of your running your business or cutting staff. So which way do you want it to be? That's the end of the day. We have to be realistic. Business is about dollar and cents. It is about the bottom dollars. What are they doing? And what's like, of course, being a boss, they need to have the most money. Okay. Otherwise, why am I having a business? Doesn't make sense to me in a business model wise. So that's something that I do have to share with everyone. Thank you, Tanya, again for coming on today. It's always lovely to actually get your wisdom, get your understanding on it. And for people who wants to know more about it, feel free to talk to Tanya. I will put down her website into the comments there, and then we can actually go from there if you got any more questions onto it. Thank you once again. Have a lovely afternoon, everyone, and I will look forward to see all of you back here again on Knowledge is Power Thursday, where we share with you a long webinar to help you to gain knowledge, because nothing worse than being able to talk about something but thinking that we're correct when you don't have the full information. Okay, we got to actually understand it and do our intelligence training before we actually say something, because words have power. You do not want to share the bad thing. You only wanted to, like me, test out everything, try that on myself, did all the experience before I give it to people. I always say, if I don't die, then I tell someone. If I die, that's the end of it. So I'm very honest when it comes to this way, that I tried it, I tested, I didn't die. Okay, there you go. That's why I'm sharing this. Thank you again for everyone's support for this week, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.